For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Dan Weber. Instant analysis of USC's 12th practice of spring, second real game-like scrimmage we've seen so far. And it was the kind of day with Swim with Mike in the background that made you kind of question what month it was. You got the barbecue smells, you had the band show of the Song Girls, and some live tackling. It made you kind of question, is this August? Are we in fall camp? But no, it's still spring. But it was definitely a great practice from USC, probably the best of spring so far. It was a physical practice, really modeled a game. I think it was the most game-like situation we've seen from Helton so far in his practices, so definitely a positive step all around.
Yeah, I mean, I think the defense, I think, has forced the issue a lot this spring, and I think you got a day where the offense came back and said, you know, we are going to block you, we're going to run the ball, we're going to take advantage of your aggressiveness, and we're going to do some hard counts, and I think we ended up with a whole bunch of, we won't go into the double-digit flags, but they went after each other. I thought the offense showed great progress. I think we're seeing a Velus Jones who's just so different that you almost can't recognize him compared to, you know, how he's been. A couple of long catches, a long touchdown one way, a reverse where he ran through three defenders at the goal line and scored. He's just so improved, and you got both running backs. Running downhill and looking. I mean, that looked like offensively. That looked like the team you want to put on the field this year, except for, as Clay said, the two critical mistakes.
Yeah. So those two mistakes were pick six. USC was backed up in their own end zone, so Jonathan Lockett jumped the slant route, got a pick six off of Jack Sears. But Jack Sears actually bounced back, as you mentioned, the two deep balls to Velus. I thought it was an interesting day from Jack Sears because I think last practice that probably would have set his mindset. He probably would have not bounced back, but he did this practice. It's an encouraging sign. Hilton said it definitely makes him sleep better at night to see a bounce back, a good day for the offense and the quarterbacks.
Yeah, you got to be like a golfer. You know, if you have a bad, hole, you got to forget it. You got to, a bad shot, whatever. You just got to go out and make the next play and make the next throw, and Jack did that. So I think that was a really encouraging, I think, day for Jack. Thought it was interesting. I'm glad to see him. They were making the offense start out like at the 2-yard line and get the ball out of there. And Aaron Donald, former Notre Dame player, great player, CBS Sports guy. Aaron Taylor, I'm sorry, we get mixed up with the Rams guy. Anyway, he was talking about one of the stats is if you don't get a first down when you're down near your goal line to wedge the ball out, the number of it's over 50% that the opposing team will score the football. If you can't wedge it out, get a decent punt. That's really important stuff, and I thought they did a pretty good job, except for the one play where Jack had a couple of reads and a progression, and he skipped one of his reads, and Jonathan Lockett, 5-year senior guy, said, "I'm going to make this read. I'm going to get there before the ball does," and he picked it off. And then you had the absolutely great ball strip and pick up and score from midfield by Biggie against Tyler Vaughns.
Yeah.
And Tyler had a great day in a lot of ways, and he's kind of difficult to cover. But Biggie did exactly what Biggie can do and what he's been working on doing. And so you can look at both offense and defense today, and I think you can make the case that they both had some really good things that they did out there today.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you want to see. But it was interesting. Helton said that the offensive line really set the tone today. They were able to get good push. And then Helton said that the physicality from Aca'Cedric, Ware, and Vavae, Malepeai, they really were physical today and had great runs, good cuts. Two great days that you want to see from those two running backs.
Yeah, I mean, and you saw them running the ball right up the middle with the two freshman centers who are getting good push, and they've got good feet, and they're attacking people. I talked to, I didn't talk, I just told Coach Callaway was talking to Aaron, and I said, "You got them going, Coach?" And he said, "So far, I think they're pretty upbeat about where the offensive line, the direction it's headed." And I think that, if you're going to be the team they think they've got to be, you got to get those running backs and that offensive line going, and you got to just depend that the quarterbacks will keep working on it, and get there. But this is a tough. The first defense was tough to go against.
Yeah.
I thought the first defense made life pretty difficult. But I thought they handled it in terms of trying to throw them off with the hard counts and with the quarterback under center. They were doing things, the kind of things you think, okay, they got to be able to do that once the season gets here. The fact that they're getting there, I think they've made a lot of progress this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think part of the reason why we're raving about this practice is this is the kind of tough practice we've been wanting to see from USC. It kind of gives them an idea where they are. You asked Helton an interesting question. How do you do this more often? How do you fix the penalties that happen when you do get in a game-like situation?
Well, I think that's the key. I mean, that's what separates the handful of absolutely great college football coaches from everybody else, is the ability to make practice as close to game-like as possible, and to put them under as much pressure. You can't do it for a long time. You can't get guys hurt, but you gotta figure out how to do that. I thought they did it today, but what you want to do is you want to see them more prepared for that kind of pressure, so you don't see the flags. They have full, Pac-12 officiating crew, and that's not acceptable. And so, they're moving in the right direction. One hopes that you see today, I mean, this team wants to practice hard. They want to practice fast. They want to get after one another. They really do. And those were, some of the keys of when you had the great teams here in the last era, is guys that really wanted to get after one another in practice and were allowed to do it. Maybe not, much of the practice, just maybe 10 minutes of the practice, but to see those first team guys go against those first team guys, and it's pretty obvious. It's hard to go against this first team defense.
Yeah.
Not as quite the same against the first team or the second team defense. Yeah. Now, you're missing guys like, Greg Johnson and Isaiah Palomao and people like that, and you don't have the really good freshman corners in here yet, and you don't have Marlon, Tui Pelotu, and people like that out there. So you'd like to see them figure out a way that the quarterbacks and the offense get a chance to go against the first defense as much as possible every day.
Mm-hmm. Did today sort out the quarterback competition at all for you? It was kind of interesting. JT Daniels, the kid in the backpack, was here again, and as he wasn't doing anything today, but as he passed by the crowd, you heard some JT cheers. So he's still causing some ruckus, even though he's not doing anything.
Well, he actually had his football cleats were tied to his backpack today. That's the first time we'd seen him show up with football cleats, and he has his practice, outline with him. And he's right there, and not a bad thing probably to have the quarterbacks know that it's a high pressure deal to play quarterback at USC. In terms of, I don't know that there's exactly a quarterback competition yet, but some of that and sometimes you've got an advantage if you're going against the second defense, for example. You don't necessarily say, this guy, completed this many, and maybe, you don't always have all the first team receivers in that, but I think, Matt is the guy who right now is probably running, the team. And then we'll see if Jack asserts himself to the point where he really wants to be in this competition, and that's up to Jack. I thought today he said, I want to be in there, but I think, there's more to it than just that, but he could have gone one of two different directions, and he went certainly in the right direction today.
Mm-hmm. As far as injuries go, it was a pretty mild day. Austin Jackson did not dress out. He rehabbed on the side, so Clayton Johnson and Frank Martin took over that left tackle spot for him. Pai Young, who came out on Thursday with a shoulder injury, did not dress out. And then there were a couple taped ankles during the live scrimmaging today. I think that was Velus Jones had a taped ankle, and I believe a running back did. I can't remember which one, but one of them did.
I'm not absolutely certain. There was a really nice crowd here today, and so you didn't have a great view, of the sideline. But I thought, other than whatever happened to Tyler when he lost the ball and got it stripped, and he was down for a little while, and you thought it was kind of a pride thing, and I think he might have been. And he limped off a little bit. We didn't get any mention after practice that there was any issue with him. He's had a really, really good spring and been real difficult to cover. So I think Biggie made up for a lot of the things that have happened in the spring. and how, all the good things that Tyler's done. Biggie made him pay today, and I think that's what the advantage of Biggie. So you got 2 senior cornerbacks that scored touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that's what you want out of senior cornerbacks. Also, somebody made the point that I guess Ryan, that the first 2 touchdown passes went to number 23.
Yep.
One on defense and one on offense. Jonathan Lockett and Velus Jones. But this was an upbeat day. I feel good about today. I feel good about what it says. It looks like they can be a run-first team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Helton felt good about today as well. From what you've seen today, if you're Helton, what are you trying to get in this last upcoming week of spring practice?
I think, more the ability to play under pressure, more of that they're coming after us, we're coming after them. We got to get this, so, not stopping ourselves. If you're going to be a run-first team, you cannot afford penalties, and you can't have 11 flags. I don't know. Most of them you couldn't tell exactly for sure, other than the obvious jumps, who the flag was on. But it was just too many flags. If you're going to have run first and get 5 yards and 4 yards and score, you don't want it 3rd and 6. You don't want that penalty where you've got to make up or you've got to obviously throw the ball. You want to be able to run the ball. I thought T did a really nice job. And that's been the question of the offensive play calling in terms of the run game. I thought that was really handled well today. I thought they ran inside. I thought they ran, off tackle. They had the one big sweep. They ran a couple of quarterback keeps. I thought I like what I saw today.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think so too. All right, that's going to wrap it up from USC. For Dan Weber, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.